Welcome back to Crackerjack Movie Chat. I'm once again your host, Peter J. McCluskey, and with me again is Danica Raven and Mr. Robert Toome. So, folks, happy Valentine's Day weekend. Yeah, I don't think any of us really care, but
No.
That's where we are in the calendar. So today we are not going to be spotlighting an individual today. Instead of that, we are going to be looking through the romance film genre and maybe other films not in that genre that you could call romantic. And we'll each be going through our favorite, least favorite, and underrated picks as usual. But before that, we promised to mention Tom Holland's third Spider-Man film, which is scheduled to come out this December. So, folks, there's a lot of rumors, weird rumors going on about this film, and I think we should just go through and break down every single one. And I think the biggest rumor, which it seems pretty close to confirmed because of set reports and everything, is that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are back for this film, which I don't know. I didn't feel like we were going there, but I'm really curious about what this film is going to be now that we're hearing this. So, what are your guys' takes on this?
Purely from the rumors of the cast, it just sounds 100% Spider-Verse. You know what I mean? Like it might be a live-action Spider-Verse, but then again, they can't go too close to the actual Spider-Verse cartoon because it's too recent, in my opinion. But who knows? The Spider-Man stuff has just jumped back and forward so much and been chopped and changed and re-edited and redone and stuff so much that it's hard to predict where they're going to go with it.
Yeah, I think it sounds a lot as if it's going to tie in with Doctor Strange's film, because I'm hearing he might be in it as well, and it might have something to do with his film. He's opened up the whole multiverse, and so we're getting them. It's interesting. I think every day there's either someone saying, no, I'm not in it, or, oh, aye, by the way, I'm in it. It's great. I mean, the only sad thing about it is how many Uncle Bens need to die.
Yeah, for me personally, I really felt like both, well, obviously, Tobey Maguire got his trilogy, but I felt like by the end of that, I didn't know how I felt about how that ended, which, aside from just what Spider-Man 3 was, just where he was with Mary Jane, etc., and obviously Garfield never got his third film, so this is interesting to me to see something that picks up after these and shows us where those characters ended up.
Do you feel that it's doomed because the previous two have pretty much been doomed by the third?
Yeah, I'm slightly worried about that, but the thing that has me, again, hopeful is Marvel Studios' record in this kind of thing. Like, if you look at Infinity War, they have the best record for overstuffing movies, I'd say. Like, X-Men 3, not brilliant, kind of fun, but not brilliant. Spider-Man 3, just too bloated and got some stuff wrong there. But Marvel Studios, they have a way when they pile stuff on of just finding stuff for every character to do. So, me personally, if this is the truth, I'm excited.
I think my only problem in how the film could fail is you still see a lot of people sitting going, Tom Holland isn't my Spider-Man. And that, there's still that debate that is it Tobey Maguire or is it Andrew Garfield? So it's quite interesting to see how that works out, to see where people go. I mean, I'm not really a Spider-Man guy myself. I've only seen the 3 Tobey Maguire films. So Andrew Garfield never done it for me. And I'm not really into Tom Holland. I mean, I'm more...
I like the
I'm
Maguire ones, but see with Garfield, I preferred the girlfriend.
Yeah, I think every one of them's got their own good and bad points, which I think is nice. I mean, it's the Sony thing as well, isn't it? Or Sony, whatever you want to pronounce it. I mean, who did they get? Because there was talk of Tom Hardy appearing in it, which I find...
Oh, that would have been good.
Aye. My only thing with that is, I don't know, does Tom Hardy's Venom really fit Tom Holland's Spider-Man?
No.
See, it's just my thing. It's interesting to see, but...
Venom would win in that instance, absolutely.
Because Tom Hardy would just go, look, you're about 6, and punch his wee face in.
Yeah, you mentioned just different elements that each of the films got right. Like, yeah, you say the Tobey Maguire films got, I feel like, the feel of Spider-Man down, that universe and everything down the best. But for me, Tom Holland is my favourite Spider-Man, even though I haven't enjoyed his films as much. And as you say, the romance in the Andrew Garfield films is the best in any Spider-Man films, I'd say. Like, say what you will about the rest, every other element in those films, Garfield and Emma Stone had brilliant chemistry.
My only thing with Tom Holland Spider-Man is that you never feel like it's his film, because the first one had obviously Tony Stark in it a lot, and it kind of did make sense with that. And then the second one, Tony Stark, it was after Endgame, if I've got this right, my timelines.
Yep, you're correct.
He wasn't in it, but yet it still had a feeling that Tony Stark was still there. It was weird. So I'm quite looking forward. I just want to see Tom Holland take a Spider-Man for himself, with no one holding on to him. It feels as if they don't want to let him go, whereas the other two have, if that makes sense.
And at the same time,
the first one, because I just didn't like the film in general, though Tom Holland is perfect for Spider-Man. He looks the right age, he's athletic enough, and he's got that dexterity. But the second one, to be fair, I think they're just replacing the whole dead Uncle Ben thing with dead Uncle Tony Stark. And that can work, to be fair. At least we're not just seeing the same rerunning the same origin story every time.
Yeah, I was really hoping. It seems like there's a certain line that since the Tobey Maguire films, they've been reluctant to say the famous Spider-Man line, like, because just for fear of repetition. But there was part of me that just hoped at the end of Endgame, as Tony Stark lay dying, that he would, in his last breath, turn to Peter Parker and say, "Peter, with great power comes great responsibility." Like, that would have been, obviously the way the scene happened and how quick it was and everything, you couldn't have done that, but it would have been nice, you know. And I'd also still be worried. You mentioned that, oh, now that Downey's gone, Tom Holland could have his own Spider-Man, just be totally independent and be the star of the franchise. But how much of this, with Benedict Cumberbatch being in the film, is going to feel like a prequel to Doctor Strange 2 and opening up the multiverse rather than concentrating on Tom Holland?
I think that's the way it could go. It's almost as if, well, here's your mentor's gone, but here's a new mentor who's just going to completely change it all. I mean, it would be interesting to see the multiverse thing. I mean, that's the big thing in every comics now. It's different universes, and I mean, have they actually got a plot like who's the villain? No.
Well, a lot of villain, we know a lot of the villain actors from previous films are coming back, like Jamie Foxx is coming back, Alfred Molina's coming back. So maybe it's Sinister Six versus these three Spider-Men and possibly Spider-Gwen, but
I know that is the problem, because is it not that Sony have all the rights to the villains? Is that, see, I know, because this is how Vulture was slightly different in the first one. I know they were saying they had to slightly change him.
I think the basic deal is, I don't know, like Sony still owns Spider-Man, and like it's basically a loan out to Marvel, and I don't know, maybe the villains are like on a 1-by-1 basis, but like overall Sony still owns Sinister Six and whatever. And they've been trying to do their Sinister Six film since Andrew Garfield time, and it's an obsession at this point. Which
I think Sony's view. I mean, I know Into the Multiverse was Sony's one. It wasn't Marvel's.
Yeah,
if I get that right. I mean, I'm quite interested to see if Miles Morales does appear in this, because I know they've teased him in the first film. I can't remember the guy's name.
Donald Glover. Yeah,
that's it. Donald Glover is meant to be his uncle, so that'd be quite interesting. I mean, Sony have got their way gone. I think they're going with the anti-hero kind of look with Venom and Morbius, which I never knew Morbius was a Spider-Man villain. Didn't know that.
Yeah,
apparently is. I hope he is, unless I've read that then.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned that one because I think it's been pushed to 2022, hasn't it? But that's not got me excited that they're trying to make a solo film out of this D-list character. But yeah, we'll see what happens when it comes out.
I'm all for comic book vampires, so I'm there for it.
Well, we're getting a Blade movie at some point, so
Ugh.
Yeah, but Blade's been done.
Yeah, and it's no Wesley Snipes.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose we'll see if we get a good
Spider-Man.
enough cast. Because it has been a little while, but the original Blade films, other than the CGI, still hold up.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it'd be quite interesting to back onto Spider-Man. Sorry, they're quite. It's interesting to see what Benedict Cumberbatch would add to a Spider-Man kind of feel. It'd be interesting to see how they deal with it. I mean, a bit of me hopes that Nicolas Cage appears as Noir Spider-Man. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work live action. But now that I've seen it, I want it. Like from that, that's all I want. I want that.
thought you were going to say for a minute there that you wanted to see Nick Cage appear as Ghost Rider.
No,
No.
Noir Spider-Man's
Yeah.
even better.
No, he can stay in hell. They were dreadful. I mean, I like the first
I
one.
loved them. They were
The first
terrible,
one.
but I loved them.
Oh, aye. I mean, the first one was bad enough for me, but the second one was just no.
I can't even remember what happened in the second one other than like they're on a road for ages and action's going on and Blue Skull.
I remember Monks. I remember him screaming in some sort of catacombs while he tries to like exorcise the rider spirit. That
Yeah.
was fun.
I mean, we're going with the Spider-Man, just what I'm thinking there. I do hope Tobey Maguire doesn't have to do the dance, because if I see that dance, I'm out. That was a horrible. I mean, yeah, I hope this isn't a doomed trilogy because Spider-Man 3 had so many issues. I mean, I think was it the director didn't want to do Venom, or he didn't want to do Sandman. There was one of the characters. I think it was Venom.
Yeah, it was Venom.
No
He didn't
interest.
even know what Venom was because
No,
he read
he had-
comics in the 60s and 70s, and Venom came out in the 80s.
He had no interest in Venom because I think he really wanted to make the Sandman redemption because they made it the Sandman was the one that killed Uncle Ben. So
That was the best part of the film
Yeah.
for me. Like
yeah,
him killing Uncle Ben was whatever, but the actual characterization of Sandman was the best part of Spider-Man 3 for me.
so I'm hoping this. I hope it is. Yeah, Marvel's ensemble films, they are good. Like they are. This will be good. I think. I mean, I would argue I don't think their trilogies have been that good. I mean, Captain America: Civil War was a bit. I don't think that should have been a Captain America film. I don't think the Iron Man trilogy was great. I don't think the Thor one was great. Controversial. So Spider-Man's the love child in it. You think of Marvel, you think of Spider-Man. So surely they could do well with him.
And we know at this point, Sony aren't leading on the creative side. Like they're pretty much ceding creativity in these Spider-Man films to Marvel.
Yeah.
So that's hopeful.
Yes, it is.
So I think we should at least touch on a couple of the supporting characters we might be seeing in this Spider-Man film. Like, rumor is that maybe Emma Stone is coming back as Spider-Gwen,
I'd watch
which
that.
that'd be that'd be interesting. Don't know, we kind of
Puzzled,
paused.
Robert.
I've got nothing. Yeah, I was just trying to have a wee gander about it stuff. I was trying to think of the Spider-Gwen thing because that she'd be this, but then obviously multiverse.
Well, yeah, Spider-Gwen is like from a universe where Peter Parker died instead of Gwen Stacy, and she got bitten by the spider. So it could be interesting. I mean, if you can get Emma Stone back, obviously she has an Oscar now. We'll see.
I mean, Jamie Foxx is an interesting one because I mean I didn't watch the Andrew Garfield film, but Electro was weird, was he no? Like I've seen the pictures of him and he looked pretty weird. There was a lot of issues with his character. So
it wasn't even the look for me. The characterization was just really broad. Like this is the way they depict a geek in the 80s.
It was very
tell me.
caricature.
Oh, I
It
know.
was very. Yeah.
Don't tell me with it when they done like a flashback. He had big, massive glasses and like an afro and big.
Yep.
You're joking me. You're joking. What did they just copy? What do you call it? Red Dwarf, like the Buxley for Cat or something.
An absolute loser nerd, nervous, shaky, underappreciated, big glasses, weird haircut, and had an imaginary friend version of Spider-Man. And he talked to himself a lot.
I don't want Electro in this film, Peter. I'm saying it right now. I don't want him.
Well, they've said it'll be a different take. even though it'll still be Jamie Foxx. So we'll see what they're doing. Maybe the yellow and green suit. Who knows? That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I was just having a check there. This is what I'm doing in case anyone's wondering why my eyes are down. Melina could be back as Dr. Otto Octavius. I'm down for that. For me, the Tobey Maguire ones, he was the best villain.
Well, aye.
Because
He's a fabulous actor.
I felt sorry for him.
I was partial to Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, so I'd quite like to see him again, but who knows again.
I just don't think they would. I mean, I preferred Willem Dafoe to James Franco. And then the Green Goblin in the Andrew Garfield one, was he not really weird looking? Did he not look like a goblin? It wasn't the suit.
It was like his skin was mutated and stuff.
Yeah, he was mutating, like completely mutating. His hair started falling out and stuff. It was Dane DeHaan, who's weird looking anyway. But then they gave him way too much makeup because they should have just stuck with the fact that he already looks odd, but they did overdo the makeup a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I did love Willem Dafoe's suit. That Green Goblin suit was fantastic. I want William Dafoe back now. I want him back.
I always want Willem Dafoe. He's the best.
But yeah, Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. There's rumors that she might not come back because she's pregnant apparently and won't be able to film, but let's hope. But another rumor that we have going around is that Charlie Cox is back as Daredevil in this film. And guys, I've said this to like you guys previously. All of these other rumors are cool, but if this rumor isn't true, I might legitimately cry. Because, like, I love the Daredevil series, and the idea that that could just be thrown away would be tragic. So if Charlie Cox is back, and it feels like he might be, because the rumors are coming from, like, different places, and, like, saying, oh, Charlie Cox might be in this, but then saying, oh, the report is Charlie Cox has finished shooting his scenes. Feels like we might be seeing him come December.
Yeah, that would be interesting. It would be interesting to see what happens with the other Netflix shows then, you know, the Defenders. Yeah. I mean, I've made my feelings quite clear on the Netflix shows. For me, it was Punisher or it was nothing. I mean, I just want Punisher back.
And yeah, a rumor has actually come out in the last few days that John Bernthal will be back as the Punisher.
Yes.
But like, it might be a slightly different version of the Punisher, but he'd still be playing the character. So take that with a grain of salt, but that's the rumor at the moment.
As long as there's some man wearing a body armor that's got a skull on it shooting people. I mean, I'm a simple man. I like the Punisher Warzone. Come on, I'll watch any Punisher. Even the weird Dolph Lundgren version.
Yeah, no skull in that version, right? No skull?
No, but Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, that's an interesting point in time when there's that crappy Captain America film that came out around the same time. You ever seen that?
Is that the one who's got the motorbike?
Yeah, there's a couple of them. There's one in the 70s as well. I've seen bits and pieces of these, but yeah.
I've just seen some scenes and it did look pretty poor.
Oh, it was pretty bad. Like, old Marvel never aged well. Old Marvel didn't do a good job. Thor looked weird. I mean, I think Lou Ferrigno is probably the only thing they ever got right.
Yeah.
Captain America was weird. Captain Pathetic, I think they're like.
Well, we're in a different age for comic book movies now. Let's just leave it at that. And we're all at least we're all at least curious about Spider-Man 3, whatever they call it.
Yep.
Homeschooled or whatever, I don't know. But anyway, I think it's time we moved on to our main event. As we mentioned, it is Valentine's Day weekend. So we are each going to pick our best, worst, and wildcard picks for what you should be watching on Valentine's Day. Danica, why don't you kick us off with your favourite pick for what people should be watching on Valentine's Day?
Well, I'm going with my favourite period drama. I'm not a massive period drama person, but my sister has made me watch so many. So, of course, I'm going to go for the most gothic of them, which is, of course, Jane Eyre. Now, Jane Eyre has been done a lot of times. So I'm specifically focusing on the 2011 version with, if I can pronounce her name, Mia Wasikowska and Michael Fassbender. And it even had Jamie Bell and Judi Dench in it. It was, for anyone who is not familiar with it, it was written by Charlotte Bronte, and it is famous for being kind of a ghost story as well as a romance. So you've got Plain Jane, which is probably where the phrase comes from, who was an orphan, terrible childhood. Depending which version of Jane Eyre you see, that is either really, really like shown or not so much. You've got a kind of early romance where she's kind of got this really strong friendship, let's face it, more than friendship, with a lassie at the orphanage who passes away, and then she becomes quite cold and quite, what's the word? Like, she's very intelligent and thoughtful, but somewhat distant. She decides to go out to this posh house in the middle of fucking nowhere. Sorry, swearing. In the middle of nowhere, to be a governess. And she's looking after this wee French lassie. And she meets the master of the house, who is Michael Fassbender, who's an absolute babe. Problem is, Michael Fassbender, although he manages to encourage her to be more emotional and much more of a complete person, and she tries to help him become more sane and more stable. They balance each other out really well, but he's got deep dark secrets. He's got this whole other life because he's a rich dude. And spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched it, there's all the creaking in the attic and the house gets set on fire and all sorts of things. Beautifully performed, visually beautiful. The costume department is insane. Definitely a romance out and out, though maybe not, definitely not a rom-com, very much a serious drama. But definitely worth a watch for anyone who likes anything that's kind of Victorian times or Elizabethan times, and definitely anything for a fan of Michael Fassbender. He does a really stellar performance in it, and he can pull off mutton chops, which is nice.
Yeah, I think you're kind of talking to someone like me there, because like stuff like Jane Eyre, Pride and Prejudice, it all just kind of goes over my head at a certain point. Like I just don't pay attention to it. But Fassbender, I'll watch in anything. Like I think he's like maybe the best actor working now, and just yep, I just think he can do anything and make me interested in stuff I wouldn't necessarily watch. So I don't know, like I'm not searching it out, but I feel like I'll end up there eventually.
If it happened to be on, you'd probably be like, okay, I'll maybe pay a bit of attention to see if it pays off, kind of thing.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
a better take because it's not as Pride and Prejudice as it could be, and I think they've intentionally done that and intentionally modernised it a wee bit, just for a modern audience, and that's why it's got the faff in it. And yeah, pretty decent. Robert, you smiled when I said mutton chops. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, we all have a bit of facial hair, a bit of
Oh, aye.
sideburns, and yeah, Fassbender can do what he wants. I mean, he's the only man I know that can walk away from doing an Assassin's Creed film and still have a career, so fair play.
I think that's why it works as a romantic film, because anyone watching it will fall in love with the Fass and his mutton chops.
Yeah.
So my pick is something, it's actually a trilogy of films that maybe a lot of people won't have heard of. It's the Before trilogy, Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, Before Midnight. They came out 9 years apart each, like 95, 2004, 2013. Star Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. And it's basically, they're almost told in real time. Well, the second one is at least over, and the other two are over the course of a day each, where it's basically you're seeing this couple meeting in the first movie just by chance, then having this reunion 9 years later in the second movie, and then picking up with them again 9 years later again in the third movie. And basically, it's not even a rom-com, it's almost a romantic drama. It's just like two people together talking about each other, and sounds like it could be really boring as a concept, but for me, these are brilliant films. The performances, the dialogue, they just feel so real and so connectable to me. And yeah, it's made by Richard Linklater, who also made School of Rock and Boyhood. And Boyhood's sort of the same idea of telling this story of people developing over years, but for me, the Before trilogy did that concept so much better. And as I say, I feel like a lot of people probably haven't seen these movies, but you should definitely check them out if you haven't. They're brilliant films. And while we're on Valentine's Day, I'll just say, without spoiling anything, if you're going to watch the third film on Valentine's Day, just make sure you're very secure in your relationship first. That's all I'm saying. So, what about you guys? Have you guys ever seen or even heard of these films?
Oh,
Never heard of it, but I mean, the cast sounds like that's probably why it would work. I mean, Ethan Hawke, you said, and he's brilliant. I mean, I've seen him in very few things lately, but that sounds. If that's one, if it happened to come on, I probably would watch it. But I can't say I've ever heard of it, ever seen a trailer, ever heard mention of it. So I'll definitely need to check that one out.
they sound quite interesting. I mean, it's quite a good concept. And Ethan Hawke, he usually does give you a good performance. But sure enough, we've not seen him in a while. So, no, that'd be quite interesting. I might look out for that myself, actually, now. I'll not watch it myself, but I'll need to find someone to watch it with.
Oh, will you find someone this Valentine Day to watch it with?
Well, yeah. So, my best Valentine's film I've went from isn't really a rom-com. There is romance in it. It's Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Scott Pilgrim it stars Michael Cera. He is playing Scott Pilgrim. It's got Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I hope I've said that right. She's playing Ramona Flowers, who's like the love interest. And the kind of villain of the film is Jason Schwartzman. He plays Gideon. Where do you start with this film? I mean, Edgar Wright's the director, and I argue this may be Edgar Wright's best piece of work. I think it's fantastic. I'm trying to think what the story goes. It's basically Michael Cera's character, Scott Pilgrim, is already going out with someone called Knife's Chow. He's 22, I think, and she's 17. And everyone says he's come out with a big, hard breakup. Okay, right, you'll meet her later on. And it's he's struggling with this relationship with Chow. People are saying you're only with her because you're struggling with your last breakup. And he eventually goes to a house party where he meets Ramona Flowers. And then it's all about, he dates Ramona Flowers, and he fights one person. Like, he's at a gig and someone attacks him, and it goes, "Did you not read the emails?" And it's just that, what's he talking about? And it turns out he has to fight 7 evil exes to date Ramona. Now, the great thing I find about this film is it's all based like an arcade game. Like, the villains seem to be harder. It's like almost boss battles, and as it in Ramona Flowers is like the prize at the end of it. She's like the unlockable character, and I just don't know where to go with the film. It's so good. I've got so much to say about it, and I just love it so much. And it's a shame, really, because I don't think the film critically was brilliant. I think critics absolutely loved it, but I think the budget was like $80 million, and it only made back 45. So it never even cleared its budget, which I find absolute madness. But I mean, Chris Evans is one of the villains. So I think if I try and remember off the top of my head, it's like every villain or evil X is different. So the first one he meets was right into his drama, almost dresses like I think they call him like an evil pirate. Chris Evans, I think, was like the jock. The fella that played, is it Michael Roth, played Superman?
Brandon Routh.
Brandon, close enough. He's in it as well. It's also got Captain Marvel in it as well. She turns out to be Scott Pilgrim's ex, and she's involved in it. He has a big fight with him. Turns out he's better than everyone because he's vegan. It's really meta. It's really self-aware. Like, it knows what it is. I mean, the editing is absolutely fantastic as well. If he's on the phone, the way the editing goes is like when he hangs up, he's in the scene. So I think he's on a phone call with someone in a coffee shop, and he hangs up, and it turns out he's now in the coffee shop. The editing's really weird, but it's really brilliant. And Gideon's fantastic. The whole plot is Scott Pilgrim's also trying to get a record deal. So while they're having these battle of the bands, he's got to fight these exes. Gideon turns out to be the main ex, who Gideon also is the head of the record company. It's just, it's just so good. They made it so much like a boss battle in a game, and plus, I think the way they work it is like a kind of damsel in distress film. It is. It's almost you have to save me from my evil exes. But Ramona Flowers isn't your normal damsel. She almost capable. Like I think she could fight her seven exes herself. I don't think she needs Scott. She does fight one of them using Scott. It's weird. I'm not going to go into detail about it. I just suggest you watch it. You figure out what I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, I'm not rom-com, so this was the closest to me. Romance, fighting for his love. I mean, yeah, he does cheat on Knife's Chow, but we'll go past that a wee bit. We'll ignore that. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know how you two feel. I'm struggling to explain it because it is so good. If you know what I mean, there's so much to do in it. It's just so hard to explain. I don't know where to start.
Yeah, I love this film as well. Like, as you say, Edgar Wright, this is the first time I feel like anyone really created like a world, a video game type world, and made it feel like a video game. Like, there's been a lot of bad video game movies, but this one really captured the feel and the tone of that kind of world. And yeah, that cast, man, that cast is incredible. And if we can get another Nick Cage reference in, Jason Schwartzman, Nick Cage and him are cousins. So there we go.
Did not know that myself.
I saw the film, but it was quite a long time ago, and I think you've actually described it really well, Robert.
There you go.
I didn't like it because I really have a soft spot for knives, so I feel like Scott's being a right arsehole the whole time. And as you say, because the main lassie definitely doesn't need no prince to come and save her. I feel as though that even more makes Scott a bit of an entitled knob end. But you've convinced me that I need to rewatch it, because maybe if I watched it in a different mood, I might feel differently about it, because it is really artistically a wonderful film that does need watched at least once.
Yeah, the visual's great in it as well. I mean, I'm sure there is a boss battle where it's like in the Battle of the Bands, and it's two fellas, and it's like they've got all these amps, and it's big dragons fighting gorillas. It's like a Godzilla versus King Kong battle. It's fantastic. I love it. There you go.
So now comes that cherished time in the show when we each pick our picks for the worst film to watch on Valentine's Day. And Danica, I think you're first here.
So this is probably going to be controversial, but my least favourite film is Grease. Now, I usually love a musical, but the thing about Grease that I can't stand is the romance element. And that's because the overall message in the film appears to be, if you want someone to like you, change everything about yourself. I ain't changing for nobody. Take me or leave me. So, your premise, you've got Danny, who is with the T-Birds. They're his high school bros. They're kind of a bit of a gang. They like to race cars. And then on the other side, you've got Sandy, who is quite a nice, sweet teenage lassie who's just moved to the school, and she joins is it the Pink Ladies? And the two of them have had a summer romance, a summer fling, where they were truly in love with each other and enjoyed the time they spent together away from their friends. But when it comes to talking with their friends, they both, big it up and talk about a nonsense, and it's all that kind of teenage drama. She more or less describes perfectly what's been going on over the summer, whereas his version very much changes who she's supposed to be. So when he bumps into her again, instead of being glad to see her, he's mortified because he's lied to his bros about the chick he's been dating. Instead of saying that, like, the sweet lady that he met, that he would have liked to continue having a relationship with, it's more, oh, aye, she was so hot, and she was this, and she was that, and I was a real hero, and I'm such a, like, big, guy. And it's like, okay, that's a bit of a dick move, but maybe we can recover from this. No, the girls encourage Sandy to start changing. You've got Rizzo, who is it Rizzo? All the lassies love Rizzo. I just see her as a very nasty, twisted, very poisonous character. who's very manipulative and also just very, maybe just has a bleak outlook on life, just trying to very much be like, love isn't a real thing. And she's going out with Kaneki from the same group. Their relationship is more of a kind of regular but doesn't really work out kind of thing. And it's really just, I suppose, high school and high school drama. Boring. Music's all right. The actors are all well too old to play teenagers. A couple of the characters are redeemable, but overall, I don't see why anybody likes this movie. Thoughts?
Well, before we get into thoughts, Robert, I believe my memories tell me that you and a mutual friend of ours had
Yes.
nicknamed each other after characters from this
Yes.
movie. Am I right?
Yes, he was Danny Zuko and I was Kaneki. I think it was the hair, to be fair. He had black hair and I've slightly got dirty blonde brown hair. Here's what I'm going to say, and you've not mentioned it about Grease. The ending.
Yes. What is that? Did they die?
I don't know. See, for those who haven't seen it, I'm going to spoil it, right? Because the film's old, and come on. Or if you have seen it, you'll try to remember. They have the big dance where Danny Zuko has tried to change himself to become a sports star.
Yep.
And it's like, but then she comes in with the trousers that she had to be sewn into because they are tight. Like, tight. I don't know, she looks absolutely fierce. But anyway, so they have a big song dance, and it's like, oh, we're all pals, we're all going to different schools, what are we going to do? And then all of a sudden, they sing this really stupid song, they get in a car, and the car flies away.
It's almost like now that he's completed becoming a sports person that he wasn't interested in before, and she's fierce, don't get me wrong, it looks great, but she's like smoking a cigarette and her hair's been done up and she's very much wearing a costume. She's doing that I'm really hot fancy me thing. And then it's both like, yay, we've succeeded, guys. Mission complete. Level up. And then the car starts flying, and it's like,
that makes no sense.
What? You know? Yeah, 100% agree.
I mean, do you know what I always found weird about Grease? Grease is one of those things that I remember being shown in primary school quite a lot when it was video day. They always seem to put Grease on. Now when I look back at it, that first song, is it Summer Lovin'?
Yeah.
It's a bit.
It's really problematic.
It's really rapey.
Really rapey. Have you seen the parody of it?
Yeah, did you slip her a pill and all that?
Did you slip her a pill?
I mean,
dude.
Yeah, I mean,
did you put up a fight? Why would you put up the fight? Do we need to phone the police?
Like, I'm of that way that don't look at things to be offended and don't look at it to try and pick a hole in it. But it's blatantly quite weird. Like that song is weird. Yeah, I would like to. I mean, I would probably need to look at the lyrics just to get the feel of it. But yeah, it was really weird. Like, I think the women are talking about, did they take you away and was it buy you nice stuff, and it's quite shallow that way. And then the guys are talking about basically just, what did you get up to? What did you do with them? Did she want to or not? It's just like, what? It's just a bit.
So did you conquer her, mate? Did you grab her by the hair and drag her into a cave, mate? You know.
It's a tad rapey.
Yeah. It's not a sweet movie in any way. It's
no.
It's about not really understanding relationships because you're young and stupid.
Yeah, you think, oh, there's nice songs in this and there's dancing. It's horrible.
There's a sequel as well. Did you know there's a sequel?
Grease Lightning or something.
Yeah, the one thing I remember from the sequel is a song about sex education where they're all going like reproduction. It's an interesting film, and yes,
I've avoided it so far, but is it worth watching once just to hate on?
Probably.
I mean, I hate musicals, so I mean, I hate them all, so I'll just hate it now.
I mean, here's the thing. To me, I enjoy watching Grease, but I'm like well aware when I'm enjoying it, when I'm watching it, there are issues with that film, and it's almost like I look back on it as like this is how we think and act when we're in high school, and we don't act like that in any way after we're done. But to me, it's a fun movie from that point of view, and the songs are all right. And Travolta, I mean, he is hit or miss. Let's face it. He's given some great performances. Get Shorty, Pulp Fiction, given some terrible performances, but this is one of his better roles, I think. Yep, I enjoy Grease for what it is.
Yeah, just going on the touching of the really weird moments in it, and quote me wrong, they're supposed to be in high school.
Yes.
High school.
What's the average age of high school in America?
Like, they're meant to be like 17, 18 in the film,
Right.
I think.
I don't know if you remember, right? Rizzo clearly looks like a 42-year-old woman.
Yep.
Yep.
All the actors were much older. I think
looks
they
really
were all
old.
in their late 30s when they did this.
Yeah, Kaneki looks old. Here's the thing I forgot. The school dance they do, if you remember that when they get the TV show down. Wait, that guy's meant to be mid-40s. Does he not try and run away with one of the lasses?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She tries to like drag her away and she starts screaming, doesn't she?
I don't know if she screamed. I think she's up for it. But it's still a bit... I would like to go maybe
Do you
that's
mean
the
the
time.
lassie that's like a bit exotic and dancing?
no,
or do you mean like
You're getting
the guy
confused.
that grabs onto Sandy?
No. Remember the guy that comes to the TV show, the big star that's presenting it?
Oh yeah. The chick that didn't have a date was cozying up to him, right?
Yeah, she was like wanting to go away with him. But I mean, he's old. Fair enough, right? It was just there's something really uncomfortable at that. Like you get ages thing that doesn't bother me, but there's something the way that they've done that, and I don't know if it's the time, but that was just another weird element of Grease.
I think a lot of it was the time because you hear a lot of stories where it was just completely more acceptable. Whereas now I think a lot more people are wary of that kind of thing, whereas I think it was
just
seen more pinch of salt back in the time.
It was almost the way she was just loving him because he was a big famous person allegedly, and he was just like, "Oh, you're in high school, yeah, I'll dip you." Like what?
So problematic.
Grease is a bag of rubbish. Like it is, it's a bag of rubbish. Let's just put it out there. Like the
product
big fight
of
they
its
have.
time. Product
Very
of its
much
time.
so.
The hardcore fight they have when they're driving the car. Oh, I'm so scared.
And one thing makes me wonder if, like, was there some thought that the ending that Sandy gets is, like, back in the day, was there some thought that, oh, this is what every woman should hope for? Because if you watch The Breakfast Club, one of the characters clearly has that same ending, and that's 7 years later, and it just...
Breakfast Club is a much better movie, though. Way better put together. And the characters all seem to improve because of each other. Yeah. Whereas Grease, nobody improves of anybody. They just pretend to improve to try and fit into society.
Here's another thing. Just now that I'm digging on Grease and I've remembered this, do they not miss like a really serious plot line? Like, really serious? Does Rizzo end up thinking she's pregnant?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's serious. That's big in high school. And then it's just, oh, by the way, I'm not pregnant. Oh, good news.
Yeah, but she and Kaneki make up after she finds out she's not pregnant. She was like, "Oh, I'm not pregnant," and they start making out, and it's like.
By the way, and then it's like, oh, the other lassie, oh, I see you failed in your dream to be a beauty school person, but you're a loser and you're a dropout. By the way, there isn't a lot of good endings in that film. It's just like I would have rather seen how Rizzo dealt with the pregnancy than Danny Zuko try to touch this lassie for Australia. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I think she was gorgeous in it, but I mean, I wouldn't say I would touch it like, no, not that way. You're like, oh, you're lovely. But it's, no, yeah, Grease can bite it. I'm sorry. I'm the same now.
No, agreed. That's exactly what I'm saying. Worst romantic movie.
I think I've got you there, but we'll see.
Oh.
Well, I think we've exhausted the discussion on Grease right now. So, Robert, why don't you take us somewhere else? Right. To another icon of romance, perhaps.
Aye, right. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I've said it. Rom-coms I can't go, or any romantic film. So I've cheated slightly. I had to Google worst romantic films and try and watch some clips and look at some reviews and look at the higgies. There was a list on a website that had 20 of the worst films. Jennifer Aniston, who, by the way, I'm going to dig out in a minute as well. She appears in 10 of them. And Jennifer Lopez appears in 5. Now, Jennifer Lopez appears in the top 5. So I'm going with number 1, which was The Backup Plan. I do not know if you've heard of this. I had to do a quick Google there. There's no really big actors in it. I think, I mean, Jennifer Lopez, right, bear with me, this is how you buy into this. Jennifer Lopez allegedly can't find a man who wants to marry her and give her away. Jennifer Lopez cannot find a man who wants to marry her and give her away.
Well, it's because all the
Jennifer
men in the
Lopez.
world have looked at her acting career.
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez. Again, I'm not saying, oh, just because she's beautiful, blah, blah, blah. So here's what I picked up from the plot. She can't find Mr. Right, and she's get tired of waiting for him. So she wants to get artificial insemination. I think she's having twins or something. She then meets Mr. Right eventually, and this guy seems to be weirdly turned on by the fact that she's pregnant and he loves that or something like that. I just don't know. I couldn't buy it myself. I just didn't have a clue it was growing. It's Alex Logan, or whatever his name is. I don't know if you know that name. Yeah, there's no one in it. Like Anthony Anderson, I know him. Eric Olsen, I mean, I think he's known as NCIS, or he's in one of those
Oh,
drama.
yeah, I know who you mean. Mhm.
Yeah, he's like the doctor. That's it. Them we're struggling to find cast members. I mean, I would love to say that, oh, by the way, I've done my research on this. I just can't because it's so crap and I don't know rom-coms. And I mean, Jennifer Lopez can't get a man to marry her and make her pregnant. You need to buy into that. I don't know how many times I can say this. You need to buy in for that to work. There's, to what I looked at reviews from a lot of people, there was always one thing that came to come up is that they had no chemistry. And now, romance, you're supposed to have chemistry for it to work. If there's no chemistry, it doesn't work. That was the big thing. The other one was just underwritten. It was just, she can't have a wedding. No, she can't find a man to give her a wedding. And here it is. I mean, like IMDb's gave it like a 5. Rotten Tomatoes has gave it an 18%. It's an absolute bag of hunters. It's just terrible. I mean, rom-coms are dreadful. This just seems to be the most dreadfulest film you've ever seen. I mean, but I just want to get this in as well, because I know me and Peter spoke about this off camera, and I'm sorry, but people need to get this, hear this. I stated earlier, Jennifer Aniston has dominated this list. Films such as We're the Millers, which as a comedy I thought originally was funny, and then I went, wait a minute, it's not actually as funny as I thought. The boy got annoying eventually. She was a pain in the arse. Jason Sudeikis isn't a very good looking drug dealer, and then you get films like Wanderlust. Just go with it. Along Came Polly. Rumour has it. The Breakup. Love Happens. He's Just Not That Into You. And The Bounty Hunter, which stars Gerard Butler. Look, here's my thing, people. It's a toss-up between if I'm picking the backup plan or if I'm just saying the worst thing to happen to rom-coms is Jennifer Aniston. Any thoughts?
I mean, yeah, as we spoke earlier, to me, that movie, Long Shot, got it right of saying Jennifer Aniston was great in Friends, and yeah, she's been in a lot of movies, but were any of them good?
No.
I liked her in Horrible Bosses. That's the exception.
Yeah, but she wasn't the lead in it.
She wasn't a
that's
romantic lead either. She was a sex pest.
It's a glorified cameo, I'd say.
Yeah,
glorified cameo in Horrible Bosses, I'd say.
One film I thought she was good in, well, sorry, wait, I have to rephrase that. I thought was good was Office Space. I thought Office Space was brilliant. I'm now trying to remember if was she actually any good in it.
I think the problem is they should stop casting her as the sort of romantic lead and give her something else to do, because there's plenty other roles out there. And if you typecast somebody, especially if you typecast somebody into the wrong kind of role for them, the chemistry is never going to be right.
Yeah, I mean, none of these films even sound good. I mean, Jennifer Aniston, I just don't rate. So I mean,
Bounty Hunter was depressing, which is a shame because I saw that because it had Gerard Butler in it, and the chemistry wasn't there, so it fell apart.
I've not really got much to say, as I've said. Rom-coms just don't do it for me, but it's either I'm digging at Jennifer Lopez or I'm digging at Jennifer Aniston, and sadly, if your name's Jennifer, what have you done to this world? You.
Well, how's about I talk to you about something that definitively isn't a rom-com?
Yeah, you do that, because if you don't, it's just got to be me hating on people called Jennifer for no reason.
So yeah, I watched a movie recently, and I'll fully admit, thought it was a fairly decent movie but I felt like the romantic subplot of this film completely sunk the entire thing. It's looked upon as part of a classic cycle of films. It is 1932's The Mummy. So I'll say I am a fan of the original Universal monster movies, but this was one I hadn't gotten to until recently, and I was quite enjoying it for the first half. Like, Boris Karloff is great as the Mummy, and a lot of like really interesting like looks into just the Egyptian culture and stuff like that. But at the center of the film are this man and woman who are just the typical version of, hey, I'm an attractive young man, you're an attractive young woman, we've just met, let's be the romantic leads of this film. And anytime they cut back to that, it just destroys the pacing, the moods, everything in the film. So almost just got me off the train with the film entirely. As I say, Karloff's great, but for me, the entire film was kind of suffering from Universal have just made Dracula the year before, and they're kind of in a, oh, how can we remake that with like a different monster? Like, down to the fact of having Edward Van Sloan, who played Van Helsing in Dracula, as a Van Helsing type character in this film as well. And as Danica, I know you've read Dracula and seen a lot of versions of Dracula. Jonathan and Mina, usually, I'm not sure how it is in the books, I've not read it, but in a lot of adaptations, Jonathan and Mina aren't the most interesting parts of that story. And I feel like the rip-off Jonathan and Mina in this Mummy film just make it all the more worst, which, decent film, but that part just sticks out like a sore thumb.
I think in most movies of that era, unfortunately, the lovers are always very wooden. As you say, it is very much, this is how they did it at the time, and it is more reminiscent of the kind of old school theatrical, the young lovers as being an item in the film rather than having any genuine feeling or personality. And yes, in The Mummy, the young couple are very reminiscent of the couple playing Jonathan and Mina in several of the older versions, including the kind of Bela Lugosi type versions, where they're really just bit characters. They're really just there to be victims. And in the Dracula book, Jonathan is wooden, and therefore most versions of Dracula have had to just try and cast the handsomest actor they could find to give it a bit of a following. I mean, even if you look at the 1992 Dracula, they took on Keanu Reeves because he was popular at the time, and the role in that is garbage. But that's because he's actually doing it exactly as it was written in the book. However,
You
Mina in the
mentioned,
book,
you talk about Jonathan and Mina being products of their time in the 30s, just playing them like that, but even agreeing with that, Keanu Reeves, I love the guy, but he has to be the worst Jonathan Harker ever, like, honestly.
his career took a dip whenever he tried to play a British person. And it's unfortunate because in the book, Jonathan's written exactly like that. He's actually playing Jonathan exactly the way that he's written. Mina, however, is much more interesting, though most of the films add more into her storyline than is actually in the books. But in The Mummy, the reason it doesn't work is because both of them are wooden. Both of the lovers are just there to be killed off. And unfortunately, that means you're not really rooting for them the way that you should be. You end up rooting much more for the monster and much more for the Van Helsing type character. And I think that's true for very many of the movies of the time.
Yeah. I feel like the reason Jonathan and Mina aren't as big a problem in Dracula as these characters are in The Mummy is, the Dracula source has them play second hit fiddle to Van Helsing in that story, but these characters, there's just so much time with them and it's just a lead weight, honestly. So not great to watch on Valentine's Day, unfortunately.
No.
Would you recommend the more modern versions then?
Oh yeah, that is maybe like
With Brendan and Rachel?
Brendan and Rachel. Maybe the best Indiana Jones film aside from the actual three main good Indiana Jones films, maybe.
Absolutely agree. Exactly the same feel as Indiana Jones. Definitely that level of adventure. I think especially the second one, The Mummy Returns. You've got your romance between Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz, who are both fabulous. And then, of course, come the second one as well. Well, even in the first, but more so in the second one, you've also got the love between Imhotep and Anok-Shanamun, which is a big part of why the whole franchise existed. I mean, that's a love from beyond the grave. I mean, who doesn't love that in a movie, you know?
Yeah, and like watching that 30s film, like you could imagine watching the 90s film with Fraser and Weiss that, oh, they're just taking the basic idea of the mummy and going their own direction. But I was stunned watching the 30s how much of that was retained in the 90s film. Like, yep, 90s film. I know it's going to be unpopular, but that's the mummy film I'd go with.
Oh, aye. Aye. Not even Tom Cruise could win.
That Tom Cruise film is
dreadful.
horrible.
No, it's dreadful. Not even Russell Crowe could have saved that for me.
He was the best part though. Russell Crowe. He was the one who was having fun out of that cast.
Aye, I mean they just tried to force it down our throats that, oh, by the way, we are going to be making a series of films, and it was just no.
They should have just made their own thing instead of trying to make it a franchise for the Mummy. It would have worked okay if it was an independent thing, because I mean, what's the whole subplot with Russell Crowe in that? He's meant to be like Dr. Jekyll, and it's like,
he's Jekyll
all together.
Yeah, he's Jekyll, but they're trying to position him as the Nick Fury of the Universal Monsters, which is strange.
Called? It's called the Dark Universe.
Dark Universe.
Aye, that's what I'm saying. Instead of just making a mummy film, it wasn't a mummy film. It was, well, yes, there was a mummy trying to kill somebody, but it was like if 70% is about the mummy, 30% was trying to force you through the door, as if, by the way, we're going to have a Dracula film, and there's going to be a film, and here. Just make a mummy film, and then we'll get to that. Yeah.
Yeah, the film, the problem with, you're absolutely right. The problem with these Dark Universe films is they only stay connected in one very tenuous way to their source material, but the source material got it right, you know?
We've already got the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. We don't need them to drag it out into a 3-4 more part Marvel Universe split up type deal. I mean, it's not going to work unless you do it properly, and they clearly weren't going to do it properly.
No, and that film was bad as it was as well. I mean, that killed Sean Connery as far as I'm concerned.
I may argue that is underrated in a future episode somewhere.
And I will argue that you, my friend, are an idiot. And I'll slap you with a glove. But we'll get to that later.
Okay, I think we've exhausted. We've moved way past romance in the Mummy into something very different there. So I feel like let's get out of this cesspool of negativity and talk about our wild card picks for what you should be watching on Valentine's Day. So Danica, kick us off.
I couldn't do Valentine's Day theme without discussing True Romance. Now, despite the title, it is probably the most violent romantic film you could possibly see, other than perhaps Natural Born Killers. This film was written by Tarantino. It wasn't directed by him, though. That's where a lot of people get confused, because it was really before he was kind of in the mainstream with his directing. It was actually directed by Tony Scott, Ridley Scott's brother.
Yeah, who made Top Gun and a bunch of other pop culture films. Yep. Exactly.
I also think it's probably the earliest Samuel L. Jackson appearance I've ever seen. He plays a very small part in the movie. The movie's got Christian Slater, it's got Gary Oldman. What else could you want? The basic premise, just the lead-in, is you've got a lonely guy who meets a wonderful lady. They hit it off right away. They go back to his place, and in the morning he tells her that he loves her, and she confesses that she's actually a prostitute that his friends have hired for him. He decides that this doesn't matter. His love for her is real, and if she loves him back, then he's happy to make it work. She says that she does also love him, but there's no way she could be with him because of her pimp, played by Gary Oldman. So Christian Slater has to rescue her from her pimp, which then causes a whole offset of violent and unfortunate events, and the couple have to run and fight their way out of the situation, very much Bonnie and Clyde style. It is very extreme, but the whole theme, the whole plot hangs on their love for each other. And you really do root for them. It's really well written, it's action-packed, and the performances are unbelievable. Have either of you two seen this movie?
This is one of my favorite films. Like, I love I love everything Tarantino's directed, and I love a bunch of the stuff he's written as well. Like, this is an incredible film to me. Like, the performances, the tone, the dialogue, it's just something. I mean, this was another one that was a total bomb when it came out, but it's an awesome film. And it's almost like it is like it is a crime film, bloody crime film, but it is also a rom-com. Like, it is a really, like, the characters have such chemistry, and it's a really funny film as well. And for me, I want to talk about that scene between Dennis Hopper as Christian Slater's father and Christopher Walken as the mafia boss having their face off. That's got to be in the top 5 scenes that Tarantino's ever written, right?
100%. It's such a good movie, and it's so early in Tarantino's work that I think a lot of people either don't know who directed it, or it just haven't heard of it, which is a shame because it's iconic, which is why it's my wild card this week. Robert, you never seen it?
No, well, this is what I'm looking at. I haven't seen it, and I was just looking at the cast of the film. And you're correct. This is, by the way, I don't know where these actors are in. I don't know if they're big roles, but I know name-wise, it's pretty big. I mean, yeah, you named it: Christian Slater, Gary Oldman. Peter has named Walken and Dennis Hopper. But I mean, Brad Pitt, Val Kilmer, James Gandolfini.
I forgot about Brad Pitt. He's so good in it.
He's funny.
He plays a tiny role, but he brings so much to it. He plays Floyd.
Sal Rubinek, Samuel Jackson. I mean, yeah, the cast is fantastic. Mm-hmm. I just don't know why. Maybe because it came out in the year I was born, and that's it.
Probably.
No, I wanted to give this a look because I'm sure in the 90s Christian Slater was still on top.
That is when he was still on top. I think it was probably not long after he did Heathers. I'd heavily recommend it, Robert. I think that you would love it. It's very much your kind of thing.
I mean, sadly, when this is out, you'll have missed it because it will be on Sony Movies on the 11th. As I have noticed, as I've been told right now, nice. Sony Movies, 9 o'clock on the 11th. But sadly,
get it watched, Robert. Get it watched.
Get it watched.
Yes. Yeah, beautiful film, and like, yeah, just sits out of the stuff that's written but not directed by Tarantino. This is the one that can just sit amongst his directorial work perfectly. Just brilliant film. So my wild card pick for the romance genre is Chasing Amy. This is Kevin Smith's third film, stars Ben Affleck as a comic book writer who falls in love with a fellow comic book writer who just happens to be a lesbian. And to me, this is like, it's a film I really feel at home in. Like, Ben Affleck just is this comic book geek and comic book writer, he's someone I relate to, and it's just another film where it's just a lot about characters having a dialogue with each other. And a lot of Kevin Smith movies, he veers too much into, I don't know, lowbrow comedy for me, which is, I don't think he's made a lot of great movies recently, but this one really shows that he can go deeper into characters when he wants to. And yeah, it's just kind of heartbreaking because when these obviously Kevin Smith's characters recur and cross over in a lot of his films, and a lot of these characters come back in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And to me, when they're just making jokes about, oh, I should start dating lesbians again, it just kind of ruins the original film. But this to me, like, I like Clerks, but Chasing Amy to me is just easily Kevin Smith's best film, and one of those great 90s Gen X kind of romantic comedies, I suppose, like, where, yeah, it's just about hanging out and talking about your feelings on relationships, and just pop culture in general. It's a funny film, it's a heartfelt film, and I love it. So you guys seen Chasing Amy at all?
No, not familiar with it at all, I'm afraid. I've heard the title, but I can't say I even knew what the premise was.
I mean, I know what it's about, but again, I'm the other way. I'm into that universe, as we'll call it, through Jay and Bob Strike Back. I come in through there. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I only know it from that, but I've heard it as a brilliant film, and it's maybe arguably one of his best, as in Kevin Smith. It's an interesting plot, but I do like the plot that he falls in love with a woman who just doesn't have the same interests, well, in terms of genders.
Or the same interest, if you look at it that way.
Yeah, well, I never thought that. They both like women.
What's not to like about women?
Yeah, I mean, I've not really got much to say about it, apart from I've heard of it. It is great. I know every review I've heard of it's brilliant. It's just not came across it. I actually like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, so how dare you attack me with your highbrow comedy?
I like, again, this is a case where I like them used in as supporting characters, like, as I say, like Clerks, love Chasing Amy, which you didn't like Clerks? Oh, that's
No,
a shame. Okay.
It was something about it. Clerks 2 was weird as well. There is a set engine.
That's another one that kind of ruined it for me. Like Clerks 2, just there's bits of it that are funny, but it just kind of shows the direction that Kevin Smith's career went in. Like where he didn't try to go deeper with his characters anymore, which, you know, I'm kind of excited about Clerks 3 because he said, obviously Kevin Smith had a heart attack a couple of years ago, and he said that that's kind of a starting point for where Clerks 3 is going to pick up and just be about thinking about those characters being at the same point in their lives where he is. So obviously just love Kevin Smith as a personality, just as he shows up on various web shows, and yeah, hope he makes another great film someday. So Robert, you have another pick that as soon as you said this is, oh, that would have been a great one. Yeah, so go ahead.
Right, so this is my wild card, not because it's an underrated or indeed a bad film. It's people tend to not look at it as a romantic film. So in terms of romance, this is my wild card. It's Django Unchained. Now, I haven't seen True Romance, so I can't say if that was Tarantino's most violent work. You know, you two want to go with that, but I mean, the violence in Django Unchained's pretty there. It's there.
It's insane.
It's unneeded at times, but yet weirdly enjoyable. Now, here's why I'm saying this is romance, and hear me out. Jamie Foxx is playing Django, who is a slave. He is freed and agrees with Christoph Waltz, who is a bounty hunter in it. His name's escaped me. He teams up with him, helps him on his bounty hunting skills to find his wife, who is played by Kerry Washington. He goes all across South America, not South America as in, you know, Brazil, Southern America, fighting everybody, doing bounties, fighting racists, the lot, just to try and rescue his wife. And the cast in this film is incredible as well. I mean, Jamie Foxx, as I've said, Kerry Washington, Christoph Waltz, and this is where they get to the area where he believes that his wife is in. The cast gets better. It's then get Leonardo DiCaprio and Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, come on. It's another Tarantino film that he wrote. I'm sure he did completely write it, and I know he directed it where Samuel L. Jackson appears. But Samuel L. Jackson is one of my favourite characters in it because he just looks as if he's just a normal slave, but he turns out he's actually secretly the mastermind. But yeah, my argument for it being a romance film is a man is literally willing to kill so many people to rescue his slave wife. Come on. I mean, Django is just so, in terms of action, it's fantastic. The shootouts are brilliant. I think it was universally quite a well-loved film. It was well received. There is maybe a few flaws with it. I mean, it is about 2 hours and 45 minutes long. I am on the side of there is a lot of unneeded stuff in there. The film doesn't have to be that long. There is a weird appearance that Tarantino makes. I think that's one scene they didn't have to do. I didn't think he had to be in his own film. Again, the film is fantastic. It's another one of these films, much like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, that I love it so much. There's so much to talk about. I just can't get it out. I just don't know where do you start. It's Jamie Foxx just shoots people in it. Come on, people. And plus, there is a great scene. This is still kind of fact checked because there's still a lot of rumours of whether this was true or not. Where Leonardo DiCaprio's character finds out that why Jamie Foxx and Christoph Waltz's character are here, because I think he is under the guise that they're buying slaves when they're not. They're looking for one specific person. Where Waltz has got like a skull, and he's shown about, I think it's meant to be like an African American person's skull, how they're meant to be different from white people. Where he smashes his hand, I think it's on glass or on the bone, and it's all cut. Now, the belief is that he accidentally had cut his hand, but he continued on the scene and wiped it down Kerry Washington's face. Now, come on, that's fantastic. If that's real and it was by accident that he cut his hand and it continued, fantastic. I mean, still with fact checks, I'm hearing a lot of things that wasn't real. I mean, yeah, I mean, I can just go on forever just telling you, like, come on, it's romance, he saved his wife. I mean, it's up. I mean, I don't know what you two think of it. I'm stuck again with Scott Pilgrim. It's so good. I don't know where to go.
I hadn't considered it, and you're right. It is the iconic, the man fights for his woman, and the kind of damsel in distress movie. Except it's one where that damsel is distressed for a good reason. Like it's a horrible, horrible situation. You might not know, Django was originally based in an old spaghetti western.
Yep.
I've seen that version too, but personally, Django Unchained is a million times better in my opinion. But I know that's because Tarantino's a big fan of his westerns as well as his eastern. Yeah, the scene where I think they cover that she'd been kept in a box, like in the middle of the grounds in the heat, and he's got to hold in his rage when they're telling them about the bad way they've treated his missus, is just so true of what someone would do for love. And the fact that they get Christoph Waltz, that he's so invested in helping this man to save his love, and there's this beautiful scene where they're like having a bonfire, and he talks about like a love story from his hometown, and about how important true love is. And you're right, it is a romantic movie. I'll completely give you that.
Yeah, for me, I know it's going to be controversial. This is my favorite Tarantino film. Like, this is like, for me, Tarantino is a master of mixing tension with comedy. And to me, he just climbed another mountain with this film. As far as like, there's that whole like, feels like a half-hour long scene where they're all just having dinner, and like you're just waiting for the secret to get out about Jamie Foxx and Christoph Waltz, and it's incredibly tense. And Robert, you say, well, like maybe there's pacing issues with the film. To me, I never feel pacing issues because that tension is always there throughout.
Yeah.
And like the violence in the film, like I feel like having that much tension in the film, like just 2 hours of tension and then the last 45 minutes of violence of whatever, when you get to the huge gun battle at the end of the film, it's so earned after all that tension. And it's just an awesome film. Like the performances, Sam Jackson, like, he's played a lot of great roles, but as far as like acting goes, great actor. But this to me is like his best acting performance. Like, it's just a character you despise for what he's doing, but at the same time, he's laugh out loud funny. And to me, that's what Tarantino does best.
Yeah. The good thing about Sam Jackson is when you first meet him, and I don't know if it was Tarantino that maybe said to do this or if it was Samuel L. Jackson. When you first meet him, he plays on that stereotypical African American from that day. He's talking like them, and it's like, oh, without to offend anyone, it's the whole yes, I'm massa, that caricature of African American slaves. He's playing with that, and I feel like as the film goes on, he's not doing it anymore, and it's almost as if there's another storyline there. It's like, oh, by the way, is it DiCaprio that's running all this, or is it a partnership? Because it seems as if he's acting within acting. He's
Yeah,
acting
yeah.
when he first meets people, and then as it goes on, he's not really seen as a slave. He's now seen as an equal. And then, yeah, I mean, spoiler alert again if you've not seen this, DiCaprio gets shot in it, but then when Django comes back for his revenge, it seems to be Samuel Jackson's character that's running it. So it would tell me that I don't think he ever was a slave. He knew damn well what was going on, and he was a part of it. It was so well played. I just think that bit goes really under the radar. Samuel Jackson's, character arc, if you would.
Yeah, you get that moment towards the end where he's been walking with a cane the entire film,
Yeah.
and then like when Django calls him out at the end of the film, it's just the two of them left. He just drops the cane, and you just get at that moment, oh, this guy's been playing the old slave, but he's been the mastermind behind this the whole time.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to what Tarantino does in his next film, The Hateful Eight, where Samuel L. Jackson's character has a forged letter from Lincoln in that film, which he uses to, he says, disarm white people and get them to trust him more. And I almost feel like that's the same sort of idea of Samuel L. Jackson's character in Django, just building up this persona of, oh, how could I possibly be a threat to anyone? I'm just this crippled old man. But yeah, he's just the most like for someone who's a slave, he's like one of the more evil characters in the film, and that's a lot. Yeah. That's saying a lot when you look at DiCaprio in that film, who is despicable. And like Christoph Waltz was the only one who was nominated and won an Oscar for this, but this is one of those films where like, yeah, Waltz is the standout, but Jamie Foxx, Sam Jackson, DiCaprio, they're all given just these brilliant performances.
I mean, it's even got Don Johnson in it from Miami Vice.
Yeah. That's Big awesome.
Daddy. Awesome scene. And it was a really weird scene when that appears, because Django is a free man and can pick his own clothes, but he doesn't quite understand what style is. So he turns up in a complete blue suit, and it's just so stupid looking. He looks like a clown, and it's great to see Don Johnson, because then he starts to say, what's going on here? Like, you're slaves on a horse, and it's like trying to compute that, well, by the way, he's not a slave. Just that whole scene for me is one of my favourite parts in the film as well. You know, when he meets I think there's two people in it that are like the bounties are on, but they're also people that Django happens to remember. They're like people that
the guys
punished him.
that do the whippings, eh?
Yeah, I like the way you die, boy. I mean, that is everything about that. For me, I'm a massive Western fan. I love, like, you know, the John Wayne ones, Clint Eastwood, you know, Italian spaghetti westerns, even 3:10 to Yuma with Bale. Tarantino got a western right. That was completely right. You know, the music, like just that scene alone when Django finally finds the guy with the whip, the music, the eyes, it goes across the eyes, just everything about it, and then the wee quip at the end when he shoots him. That was just a total western for me. I mean, the film is fantastic. I mean, it's funny, it's violent, there's romance in it. That's why we get to talk about it on this, and it's just a proper good western. It's great. I mean, I don't know what the rating for the film was in terms of like age. I'm assuming it had to have been an 18, because
definitely.
Yeah, because someone gets it shows you someone get eaten by dogs. I'm sure it shows you that, like someone get ripped apart by dogs. I mean, Tarantino is not afraid of that. And what I liked about it as well, and I'm not saying this is why I liked it, is the whole film is about racism, and Tarantino hasn't shied away from that. And I think that's a good thing. He's got trust to use a lot of racial languages in it, or a lot of racial slurs, and he's not shied away from that. It just gives you a perspective on it all. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
again, I'm not saying I like it because there's racial slurs in it. I'm saying I like it. He's not shied away from it.
Yeah, this is an issue I have with a lot of people who call out Tarantino for, it's so inappropriate the way you use the N-word or whatever. But to me, it's like, no, Tarantino is fascinated with the effect that can have coming out in different situations by different people, and he just runs with it. Like when you watch Reservoir Dogs, and like you've been following those characters, and then half an hour in, all of a sudden, Steve Buscemi hits out with the N-word. That's not Tarantino doing it flippantly. That's him saying, "Oh, you've been following Steve Buscemi as this character you like the full time, but now you need to think about oh, who is this guy actually? And do I
Yeah.
like him actually? And yeah, just he knows what he's doing, Tarantino. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people call him out as, oh, he's so over the top and like he's out of control and stuff. But to me, it's like, no, everything Tarantino does in his films, whether it lines up with your taste or not, whether you think it's over the top or not, he got the exact reaction out of you he wanted every time.
Mhm.
He's got a real love for language, and that's the thing is, as well as when you've watched a Tarantino film, the bits you remember are usually the violent action sequences. But when you go back to watch them, you realize they're so long because he sets up the characters. He uses language to do that, and certainly it does color the perspective of the film and the setup using language. And I think, as you say, as you were saying about Sam Jackson in that movie, is you don't expect him to be a race traitor, basically. And he is very much the power behind the throne. And the reason you don't believe that's going to be the case is because of how well they've set up the racial prejudice throughout the movie. I mean, they go from just it being like derogatory to be black to out and out a black man being eaten by dogs to the fighting and DiCaprio, the amount of things that DiCaprio says where this is just normal to him is really clearly defines the setting of the film and also makes you think about how people were treated back in the day or sometimes even now. Words have got a lot of power and words have got a lot of meaning, and Tarantino knows how to enforce that.
I mean, definitely. I mean, the film is so good that, I mean, it's got Leonardo DiCaprio in it, and not really one of us have really spoke about his character. And I mean,
So
I know
good.
I suppose it's. I mean, and even when he appears again, it is Tarantino's grasp of what a western is so good. When you meet the villain, they always zoom right in their face and they play a separate song in western. They all do it from you know, I've got it up there. You know, a fistful of dollars, a good, bad, and ugly. And a few dollars more. When you meet the villain, it's right in the face, and it's his own music playing, and they do that when DiCaprio appears. DiCaprio is just so good. You love DiCaprio in it, but because of how good he made, you love DiCaprio in it because how much he made you hate him.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
he
he
was
also
so
comes
good in it.
across as like charismatic and kind of naive,
Yes,
like
yeah,
very much born with a silver spoon in his mouth.
yeah.
And it
Yeah.
makes you want to kind of like him, but then he stands for everything wrong in the movie.
Yeah, it almost gets you thinking of like it almost just you lower your guard at a certain point and you think,
Yeah.
oh, I hope these people can all come to an understanding at a certain point. Like DiCaprio's not that bad, and then as you say, then you get that scene where he feeds the runaway slave to the dogs, and it's like, oh no, he is a scumbag. Nope, there's no redemption here.
There's also just as well because we're meant to be talking about romance, but again, the film is so good you lose that. It even shows you scenes with Jamie Foxx and Kerry Washington together trying to run away, and I'm sure there is a point where he could have left her, but he doesn't. And I mean, I think that's really understated as well. A man is willing to go through racist America, fighting everything to get his wife that she may not even be alive. I just think that is so fantastic. It's just such a good film, innit? You could talk about every scene for so much. The comedy comes from the stupidity of moments with the white hoods. Well, my wife isn't making these bed sheets anymore. Like, that's so good. I mean,
And that's that going from tension to comedy again. Because when the clan comes in that scene, they're playing the music from Battle Royale and they run over the hill, and it's like, oh, this is terrifying. But then they cut back to them discussing the attack before, and it's
so stupid.
Genius. It's
it's stupid, but it's genius as well. The film is great. I'm glad there was a romance story in it, so I can put that in. I mean, to be honest with you, it was either that or it was Deadpool. And don't go wrong, I don't think either two they were bad, but Django's just get that Nick in there, get it in.
Yeah, last January when I did my top 30 films of the last decades, like, and I'm not just saying this because we're talking about it, Django was number one. Like, I think it's an amazing film. Amazing film.
I mean, it's definitely up there with my top westerns, and I love a good western, and that's there. It's maybe not my top, but it's in maybe the top 5, I think. It's high up anyway. Just nothing can beat Clint Eastwood for me.
Yeah, someone else we should do an episode on at some point.
Definitely.
I've not got the time. I couldn't pick a bad episode, a bad film of his. I know, the best film.
I can only think of one bad that he's ever done.
I will attack
When
you.
he's trying to boost his girlfriend's career, but that's for another time.
Yeah. But that would be Clint Eastwood.
Well, guys, that was a perfect pick for us to end this little Valentine's Day interlude on, I think. Like, as always, we will be back next week with another actor, director, writer even, maybe. We'll see. Like, at this point, it's kind of weird. We've been planning these episodes out in advance. At this point, we know we're doing WandaVision in a few weeks, but we don't know what we're doing next week at this point. So, yeah, Robert never does. But yeah, okay, that's fine.
I never do know what I'm doing. I forget halfway through what film I'm talking about. So I've got notes. Just, I don't know.
Anyway, yes, it's been another good conversation with you guys. So Danica, Robert, thank you for joining me again, and I'm sure we'll come up with another interesting topic to talk about next week. So until then, thank you for watching, and remember to like, share, and subscribe. It would really help us get out there and start to grow this show. And we look forward to seeing you again next week. So again, thank you for watching and have a good week.
Shalom.
Bye for now.
Thank you.
I think that's why it works as a romantic film, because anyone watching it will fall in love with the Fass and his mutton chops.
Yeah.
Yes, the Fass. I've never heard that one, but it's a good one. Yes, may start using that.
It's better than calling him the rest of it, because you think you'll get done for a crime if you call him the other half of his name. So we'll go with the Fass. I'm not going to say it in case I offend somebody. No, that'd be quite interesting. No, I might look out for that myself, actually, now. I'll not watch it myself, but I'll need to find someone to watch it with.
Oh, will you find someone this Valentine Day to watch it with?
Well, enough money you can buy whoever you want.
We're sad, lonely people. We're sad, lonely people.
Maybe someone that watches this will be to be a Valentine's. Leave a comment in the YouTube channel if you guys would be happy to be a Valentine's date to any of the three of us.
Yes. Or
yes, thank you for the any of the three of us. Thank you.
Or all three of us at once. I'm sure we could arrange some weird thing going on there. You know? You never know.
In the books, Jonathan is wooden. He's written wooden, he's performed wooden, and quite often in the earlier movies, they just try and find the handsomest actor they can to try and give the role a bit of following. Whereas Mina's actually
Robert, we can hear you.
A character. So you really need at least one of the two of them to have something going on.
Sorry, Danica, do you want to go back a couple of...
Do you know what I've done?
There?
Did
you mute and then unmute?
I was originally muted, thought I'd muted myself again. Turns out I was unmuted. Sorry.
It's fine. Okay.
We were doing so well enough. We hadn't stopped. And I thought I was actually muted. And then I thought, if I do this, and I was doing it really quietly. And then I went, wait a minute, I'm not muted, am I? I was muted, I know. Oh. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry. That was good, I know. Like, I was really listening to that while I was like, oh.
Basically, True Romance was written by, his name's escaped me.
The most famous filmmaker of the current generation.
Yes, why is his... I can see his face.
Zack Snyder? No.
Tarantino.